Hello everyone, I am Shreya Agarwal and glad to have this opportunity to share my experience of applying to a deferred MBA program. program. Just a brief about me. I graduated from IIT Bombay with a major in economics in 2021 and have an admit from the Wharton Business School as well as interviews from Chicago Booth and Columbia Business School. So I had decided to apply for the Deferred MBA application program, A, because I thought it would be great to have an option to join an MBA as early as after 2 years of work experience. B, because I liked the idea of having having that community to interact with, to get guidance and inspiration from as soon as I started my career. And third, just to have a cushion to fall back upon and allow me to take riskier opportunities in my early career life. So that is why I thought a deferred MBA application is like a win no lose situation, and I went about applying for it. I had some apprehensions regarding in general applying to an MBA program because the stories that I heard earlier was about people having stellar international experiences or social, like I had thought that social impact meant only working with NGOs, and I had very specific stereotypes of what leadership means. And I thought that maybe I like these three elements lack in my profile, and I was not very sure about whether I'm the best fit for an MBA or not. But I decided to take on the challenge head on and thought that I should start with first identifying a good admissions consultant. So yeah, I started talking to my seniors who had gone through an MBA process before this, and I heard about Sumit Verlarkar from a senior, Saman Siddiqui, who had also got admission from Stanford Business School. And she told me about her experience, how Sumit helped her craft her whole story, helped her show her strengths and cover up for some of the missing elements. And as well as she basically busted a lot of myths I had about the MBA application process itself, and told me how Sumit would further help with that. So that inspired me and that got my confidence level higher. And that is how my journey of applying to a deferred MBA application started. So yeah, and then it was a pleasure for me to work with Sumit for 7 to 8 months for this whole journey. It started with a very deep reflection, retrospection of everything, like from my past to present to where I want to be headed into the future. It was very detailed in terms of me thinking of where I was born, what did I grow up with, why did I take the decisions that I've taken till now, why did I take part in XYZ activities, and all of that. Just deep retrospection, reflection to understand what makes me me. So that was a very interesting way, and Sumit made sure that we had fun during this process, and also so it was like a life changing process in the sense that that was the first time I was introduced to such reflective behavior. So that's something I enjoyed a lot and still carry with me in my professional life, always thinking of why I'm enjoying what I'm enjoying and why not if I'm not liking a certain thing. So that's how it started, and all of this fed into the whole essays and the whole story. And so at the end of it, it was amazing to see how all of this reflection actually fed into the stories and the essays. So that was on the essays. Parallelly, I was also preparing for the GMAT, and I gave GMAT once in September, and I got a 740 score. And I decided to run with that for now and keep that aside and focus on the other parts of the application, which included me writing essays specific to every school. So me helping me shortlist those schools, as well as giving me specific pointers on what which school looks for what, and in my particular profile, what would they look for, and then running through multiple iterations of the essays. So yeah, that was a good exercise as well. And yeah, just if I were just to reflect on the process again, then I definitely think it did enhance my writing skills as well. So yeah, that was a lot of work on the essays, iterative, and Tilden and Sumit Vadlarkar's comments, as well as feedback, as well as the additions that they made were really helpful. And I still have, the first draft that I made, and the last final version we had, they were miles apart, and I could see the difference and the hard work of basically the iterations play out. So that was on the essays. And then we had this whole interesting part about preparing my recommenders for what are some parts that they can highlight in my recommendations, as to how to fit the recommendation with the story as well, without telling them exactly what to write. So that was an interesting part as well, just getting the recommenders up to speed about how the MBA application process works. And again, Sumit was very helpful for that as well. So that was, yeah, I think like the essays, the story, and the resume, the recommendations were the major parts of the application before the interviews. And one interesting thing that happened was, so since I started a bit earlier, we were done with all of this well before the deadline. And that is when, Sumit pushed me to say that now that we are done with all of this, why don't you retake the GMAT? Or given his connections, and given he was working with a lot of other people, he knew that people are retaking the GMAT and getting a higher score. So I think he got that competitiveness within me and motivated me to just retake the GMAT. And I retook it like 2 days before Wharton's application, and I got a 770, a 30 points difference from my first score. So yeah, that's something I'll always have in mind. And that is how the written parts of the application ended. And then I was thrilled to have interviews from 3 schools. And little did I know that there's a lot of work ahead as well for the interviews. So yeah, preparing for the interviews was another interesting part, where we had multiple mock interviews. For Wharton, we had a lot of the team-based discussions. So Meet Vadlarkar helped organize some of those discussions, got in more people, like the group discussions, gave feedback to everybody, and really helped me contextualize as to how I can be a team member, and like what can be my contribution to a group discussion. That really helped me. And in the interviews, I was surprised to hear, feedback from all elements of the interview, right from the content to the delivery, as well as to just how much should I smile versus not smile. And yeah, so that was another interesting part of the application. And I think I had apprehensions about the interviews as well, because I thought that I'm not very good at interviewing, but just Sumit's persistence and giving very detailed feedback helped me navigate that as well, and allowed me to get an admit finally. So yeah, that has been my journey. That has been my journey. Since then, I worked at Goldman Sachs after that for about a year. And then now I am working at a seed fund, just so that I am exposed to more diverse options, in diversity of functions basically, and know a lot more about a lot of industries now. So yeah, that has been a good part about having an admit from Wharton as well, that I can take career experiments right now, as well as I'm connected to all the MOLS, the Wharton deferred admission fellows. We keep meeting in different cities, Mumbai, Bangalore, Delhi, and getting to know what everyone's up to, and basically having that network well in advance has played out really well for me. So yeah, that's a brief about me. And and my journey, I really enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoy the journey as well. And yeah, it's deferred MBA especially, I always say that it's a win only, no loss situation. You can always apply later on if things don't turn out well, but it's a good use of one's time in the final year is what I think. So yeah, I'm happy to connect on LinkedIn for any further questions, and all the best for your journeys ahead. Thank you.